What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show, and today we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about some big things. The thing that we're going to talk about first, well, no, we're going to talk about the only thing, and that is maybe this job isn't what everybody wants it to be. Maybe this is a job that that a lot of people come, they look at it, look at what they have to do and feel like, nah, never mind. I understand that we all feel that, you know, we're the prince standing at the ball waiting for his Cinderella to show up. And what we're finding out that we're more the guy waiting for the girl to come up, sit down, look like she's by herself, so you can buy her and her friends drinks, so she can find you interesting, right? You know, right now, what has happened is that most of y'all feel like T-Pain, chopped and screwed, right? You know, y'all feel like y'all sat up there and y'all been up there giving the stripper all your money and all that, and you excited, and she seems like she likes you, and then at the end of the night she's like, yeah, all right, have a good one. That's how all y'all feeling right now. In fact, most of y'all sounded like the two crackheads from the crackheads from Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society. Man, shiz your pitch. You got some offense, you got some defense, shiz your pitch. That's what y'all sounded like. Look, that's why I don't talk about coaches until they actually get here. Because again, I have all these analogies, but it's no different than anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, the woman who wants the guy who makes all the money, right? But not understanding that, guess what? You're not the only woman who wants that guy, and then you gotta hope that that guy wants you. So yeah, sometimes it's not always about this. Look, this should be what you want. Don't you want to be a head coach? Don't you want to be a head coach? Yeah, everybody wants to be a head coach, but do you want to take over a franchise that has more work to do? Especially as a first-year guy. Understand, Jay Gruden was a first-year guy. Didn't work out so well for him. Jim Zorn was a first-year guy. Didn't work out for him. And both of those were the offensive minds. Steve Spurrier, he wasn't a first-year guy, but still. You know, sometimes it's not as easy to be a first-year guy and come into a situation where you have to basically build the team. Like, build the team. And I think that that's what most people are missing here. Everybody's missing the fact that he actually has a team that has to be built. Because we all understand that Sam Howell isn't the guy. We all understand that. So that means he has to draft the right quarterback. We're going into a free agency with a lot of money, but not a lot of people, not a lot of guys out there that we could use, especially on that offensive line. We ourselves got a bunch of free agents that we don't know if they even want to be here. We can say all day that we want Cam Curl to be here, but what if he says, yeah, nah, I want to go to San Francisco. I want to go to Philadelphia. You know what? I like playing beside whoever, so I like playing with Bobby McCain, so I'm going to go to the Giants because they're re-signing him. It could be any one of those things. And yet and still, we don't know what is happening right now. And again, as a first-year head coach, the last thing you want to do is be in a situation where you don't have the backing of ownership like you really want. Or you're not really certain the level of building. Like, again, you're talking about, as a fan who understands, I understand year one. If we do something year one, it will be an anomaly. But year one, I don't expect for us to do much because, again, Ron Rivera left this cupboard bare. Absolutely bare. Ron Rivera came in, we told him, hey, look, bruh, before you leave, make sure you buy some more food and, leave some food on the shelf for the next person. And what he did was he left, and the only thing he left was a can of green beans that is already probably a couple days from being expired. That's what we got. And it's not to sit up here and say that the players that we do have under the contract isn't worth it, because again, you're talking about, we got, I can't remember who did it, but he gave the great analogy of a car, about how, you got the car, but you got the engine and all that. That don't mean you get rid of the car. And my thing is that, no, we don't have a car, we have the shell. We have the shell of the car. Because, we got players that are here that are great fits for any coach to come in and take care and deal with. But right now, we don't have a lot of the key pieces that make a team better. We don't have the quarterback. Our offensive line is in a situation where we have to rebuild it or build it to a point where it's formidable, because we saw in these playoffs, almost every team in the playoffs almost pretty much had an all-pro on the line. And that was for several teams. And if they didn't have an all-pro, that team's offensive line was recognized as a top offensive line. So again, we're in a situation where, there's going to be some building here, and maybe a first-year guy doesn't want to take that chance. I mean, maybe somebody like a Eric Bieniemy might be the person to fit here. Maybe he's the only one who would accept the job. Because even when you talk about Dan Quinn and all these other guys, they still understand that they have to rebuild. Not only that, how do you know you're not going to get the exact same result that you got out of Ron Rivera? You don't know. Maybe Eric Bieniemy could be a better head coach. And guess what? Maybe him passing the offensive play calling to someone else, it might impact it and be better. Maybe he might be the type of guy that will pick the right assistants. But you won't know until you try something. And right now, we don't look like the sexiest woman in the room. We just don't. And that is something that we all have to understand. And y'all have to not be falling in love with these coaches. Again, they got to choose to be here. You can't be sitting here doing long videos and all that type of stuff about these coaches when you don't know what's happening. You can't be sitting here on the radio talking about we need this coach. At the end of the day, guess what? That coach got to want to come here as well. And like I said, everybody can think Washington is sexy because we got the number 2 overall pick. We got 5 picks in the first 100 picks. And we got $80 million in cap space. $80 million in cap space doesn't benefit you when you may not get a top offensive lineman. You got to use your second overall pick on the quarterback because next year you don't know where you might fall at in the draft order. Again, just because fans think that it's a sexy gig doesn't mean everybody else sees it as a sexy gig. I mean, how many times have we all sat up there and seen something that is like, oh man, I think she's pretty, and then there's that one person that's like, She's all right. Those are things and elements everybody has to understand and get into the benefit of really getting down to the nitty gritty and understanding that, hey, at the end of the day, we don't know. We just don't know. And it's okay to not know. But at the same time, we don't have to sit up here and act like, we're going to basically roll out the red carpet for every guy that shows up or every guy that might see something. Oh my God, did you see his offense? We definitely got to get him. Oh my God, did you see his defense? We definitely got to get him. Because guess what? Some guys may be guys that you can just sit up there and say, hey, he ain't show much, but guess what? He might be a hell of a head coach. And those are things that everybody has to understand and get with. Like, not everything is meant for everybody. And sometimes some guys will sit up there and say, hey, look, I'd rather not deal with that, and I'd rather not go through the rigors of that than to sit up there and be dealing with me trying to rebuild a team that at the end of the day is going to take some time to rebuild. My first year may be trash. And that's another thing too. Maybe a brand new head coach may be like, look, that's going to jack up my confidence. That's not going to make me feel good. And I'm not going to feel secure in my job year one because I got so much to do. So again, like I said, we might not be the sexy pick. I mean, like I said, I told y'all from the onset, when we hired Adam Peters, I felt Ben Johnson wasn't going to be here anyway. I told y'all that. I told y'all more than likely Ben Johnson wasn't going to be here. Now, Bobby Slowick wasn't expecting that. Wasn't expecting him to say he's going back. And what we're seeing now is that these guys, these coaches now are taking strategic they're doing everything on a strategy basis. They're picking the places they go based on what's really happening. Jim Harbaugh went to the Chargers. There was already a quarterback there. There are guys that are picking places where they're like, look, there's some infrastructure here, but at least all I got to do is possibly bring in something, show some development, and then I'm good. Now, you talking about, but you look at Washington, we don't have a lot of infrastructure here. We just don't. We got some top level players. We got some quality players, but we don't have a lot of infrastructure, and we got a massive amount of free agents. This team has to be built up. And so understand, it may not look like the sexiest job for a first year head coach. It may be a little bit more sexy for a guy like Eric Bieniemy. It may be a little bit more sexy for a guy like Dan Quinn. It might even be sexy as a last option for a guy like Bill Belichick. Again, people who have built teams or were in the process of building teams or been head coaches before, or somebody who's just like, I want to try just to try. Like I said, y'all, don't get down about this. Don't get upset about this. You have to understand that at the end of the day, just because you find something sexy, that sexy has got to choose you first. And if that sexy don't choose you, you can't sit up there and say, all right, well, I'm going to choose the next sexiest thing. Because again, that sexy thing got to want you as well. So y'all tell me what y'all think. How do y'all feel about being turned down by so many coaches? But at the same time, I mean, the possibility that, hey, we might have to deal with Eric Bieniemy coming in. We might have to deal with somebody like a Dan Quinn. We might have to bring in somebody like a Bill Belichick. It might have to happen. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Other than that, this has been your man John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.